Good morning. So today what I'm going to do is give you guys a really fast crash course overview of Chris Odom's Chapter 6 on modular programming and the SCIF, the serial keyboard interface that he's written to make your life a lot easier to take input from the serial window into your program. Okay, so I'm going to write a quick little demo here. In fact, I've already kind of started to put the basic junk in here about starting a serial port, waiting for the serial window to open. I've got a little delay in here tossed in. My computer's really old, and sometimes it's nice to give it a little bit of a break. And let's do something that you've already done before, or some of you have already done before, so you can kind of get a feel for what's actually going on. And what you can't quite see probably is I'm not a very fast typist, so I have a block of code just off your view here that I'm going to be copying and pasting from and explaining what it is that I'm doing so that you all can sort of see it. And the first thing I've done here is just copy and pasted this very small and simple little program, or a little function, I'm sorry, that I'm calling my pen void. This is a void function, okay? And I've got an argument, which is going to be L, which is going to be the length of a pendulum. I've got a variable here that I've created called P, which is going to be for the period of the pendulum. And I've got my basic mathemagic going on here. I've got 2 times pi times the square root of 1 over the acceleration due to gravity, which is 9.8 meters per second squared. And then I'm going to output this piece of data here with a concatenated string where I'm converting the period of the pendulum into a string. So I get a nice little sentence. So I should throw a period in there. Okay. Now, to make this go, all I have to do is run in the loop. Make sure it doesn't run over and over again. All right. Run in the loop my function call, and then let's put in here a 0.9, okay? And that should mean that it's going to call the function pen void, which is here, and it's going to take the value of 0.9, it's going to insert it here in this variable L, and then it's going to run the mathemagic, and it's going to output the value of the period that it's converted to a string in a single sentence. So if everything works fine, we should be able to upload this, and we should get an output here of a single sentence with the period of the pendulum. Okay, works perfect. Now, this is what you're familiar with. Here's the cool thing about modular programming. It's nice to be able to break your program into its functional units. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to do all my math functions or whatever function it is that I'm working with on a single nice tab, a category. Well, you can do that right here. It's a module. I can go with a new tab. I'm going to call this my Mathemagic tab. Okay? And here, I can literally just take and Control X this, and I can put it here. Okay? And now I have all my Mathemagic. I'm going to build all my math formulas here, leaving this particular workspace just for the functional units of my program. All right? And if I load this up, we should get exactly the same thing. I've literally just moved it from here to here. Okay? And you can see it works perfectly. Let's go ahead now and create a non-void function. And again, like I said, I'm not a very fast typist, so I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it. Okay? So now I have this non-void function, which I've called the pen non-void. All right, so it's going to calculate the length of the pendulum. I've still got the same variable L. I've still got the same mathemagic going on right here. And instead of printing it out, okay, I'm going to return the value back to my main program. And to run this, what you need to do is you simply need to call, let me just get this right here. Well, actually what I want to do Just pause it for 1 second. Sorry about that. I had an urgent message pop up that I needed to take care of. Okay, so what I've done here is I have created a variable that I'm going to call answer, and I'm going to equate answer. Okay, I'm going to give it a value from the function, the non-void function that I've created here, and I'm going to insert a 0.9. So it's going to come down here, create the variable. It's going to say, what's the variable equal to? Well, it's equal to this function. We jump over here. Here's the function. We insert the 0.9 in here. We create the variable called p, which is going to hold the answer. We do the mathemagic by carrying the 0.9 or 0.9 down in here, inserting it into L. Comes here, it returns the value, okay, and inserts it into the variable answer. And now you can see that we can take and output it, and we should get a output here with two identical sentences. Oh, except one without a period. So let's take a look. And there you go, left off the period. Let's go ahead and put that period in there right now. Okay, so now let's do the serial keyboard interface. For you who are George School students, you can find the serial keyboard interface, okay, from Canvas. And if you go to Files, you can then go to Modules for GS Students. And here it is, okay, the SCIF. You want to download this. Don't open it. Download it and know where you put it, okay, because you're not going to open it as itself. You're going to be inserting it as a module into your program. So I'm going to do that now. I've downloaded it, okay. Now it's time to me insert it into a tab up here as a module. I'm going to go to Add File, and in my case, all right, I've been using it for a little while, so I'm just going to go down to one of my Chapter 6 things. Oops, not that one though. Oh heavens. Hold on, let me find it. I should better plan this. Here it is, SCIF. Okay, so I have added this tab, okay, this module, and you can see that I have already here several functions that Chris has written. I've got the read character function, I've got the read byte function, I've got a read integer function, I've got, oh, that's one I'm probably going to use, the read float, all right, and a read string. So if I want to have an input where the user can change, for example, the length of the pendulum, all right, we come back over here, and what I'm going to do is, what I want to do is I want to replace this given value of 0.9 as a variable that I can take from the user, okay? And that's really pretty easy to do. All you want to do is, all right, all I want to do is ask the question of the user, how long is the pendulum? And that's going to display on the screen. Then I'm going to create this variable called PL for pendulum length, and I'm going to call the function read float. All right, and read float was right here. So it's going to jump over here, it's going to utilize this programming, and it's going to read the float. Okay, now I've got a variable PL. I don't have a fixed value anymore. I've got a variable, so I'm going to have whatever the user gives me put into this variable. I'm going to then put this variable into my void function, and it's going to jump over here and it's going to run it. All right, so let's try it out. And it asked me the question. Let's make it something other than 0.9. Let's make it 0.5 so we get a different answer. And it does the calculations, and you can see it returns a value of 1.42 seconds. Then of course it jumped down here and did this one, all right, where we already had the 0.9 in there. So now let's change the non-void one. Well, this is really easy. Keep in mind I've created the variable here, okay? So I don't need to recreate it. All right, and then we want to substitute in here. And now we should be able to change both of these, okay? And let's run it. Okay, how long is the pendulum? Let's go with 0.5. And this is running the first one, the void function. And now it's asking me to put in another one. Let's give it something big, 1.5. And it's going to run the non-void function. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write a teeny little piece of code that uses a couple of these other variables, these functions, I'm sorry, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so what I've done is I've added a couple of lines of code here just to demonstrate a couple of the other functions in the SCIF. One would be the read string and the read integer, and of course you've seen the read float, but I put it back in anyway. So this would be how you'd use all three of these at least. Okay, so I asked the question, what is your name? I've created a string variable called nm for name, and I'm going to read the string. All right. Then I asked the question, what is your age? In this case, I'm looking for an integer. All right, no decimal points, so I read the integer. And then I ask, what is your height in feet and inches separated by a period? Okay, which is going to be a float, so it's going to take the variable I've created here, ht, for the height, and it's going to read the float. All right, then it's going to go ahead and output this all in one concatenated string. Keep in mind that nm is already a string, so I don't need to convert it. So nm plus, and that is, and it's going to insert the float here after converting it into a string, feet tall, and, okay, convert the age into a string, years old. And if I run it, I should have actually tabbed or commented out these so I don't have to do this again, but we'll do it quickly. All right, so let's put in 0.6. And let's put in 0.3. Okay, what is my name? My name is Brian. What is my age? I'm 53. And I am 5 feet 11 inches tall. And it outputs it. Brian is 5'11" and feet tall and 53 years old. Okay, so hopefully that was a useful crash course, and I hope it gets you along quickly, and I will see you all again soon.